way to create a list itself, but in a different way. And the common applications are to make new list where each element is the result of some operation. So let's say we have a list and we want a new list with the square of each element. So it is, or it can be done in different ways, so we are going to explore those. So let's say we have a dummy list with elements like let's start with 1 2 3. Okay, and let's say we want the square of each elements, and we want a new list. We want it in a form of list itself. Okay, so let's start with a traditional way itself, or you can say going with a normal kind of thing. So we are going to create a normal or an empty squares list. Okay, and we are going to perform this operation using a for loop, old fashioned. Okay, for element in dummy list, and we are going to append all the results into squares. So what we are going to square each elements. Okay, and let's see if this gives us some results. Alright, so we can see it's giving 1 4 9 16. Okay, so it's working perfectly fine. Okay, so now we are going to try with list comprehension, like how list comprehension works. So let's say we wanted it as a new list. Okay, so let's name it square list comp. Okay, and the basis syntax will remain same like how we create a list, and inside this we are going to call, or we are going to run the for loop for each element of the dummy list and do the squares as well. Okay, so let's say, okay, so basically if we're going to write a for loop, we are going to write something like for element in dummy list. Okay, but we also want the squares of each elements, so we can do something like this and it will give us the result. So basically the syntax will be something like this: the operation we are going to perform, the for loop, we are going to select the element in the dummy list, so it will iterate over all the elements and it will perform the operation. So let's try to print it and let's see. Okay, so it's giving us the same results, so it's working in a perfect way. Okay, so it is like a very simple example, but if we are going to say, okay, we have for loops in which we perform some conditions, like we perform some operation based on the conditions, so we can do that kind of thing as well. So I'm going to comment this out. Okay, and let's see, and we don't need the dummy list for now, so we are going to create a new list. Let's name it new list, sorry for the typos, and let's say element like 15 20 33 145 150. Okay, so let's say we have new list which have some elements, and we want only those elements which are divisible by 5. Okay, and we have to perform this using list comprehension. So we are going to name it like div by 5. Okay, so I'm going to create something like this in the similar manner for element in new list. Okay, and we don't want to perform any operation as such, but we have to add some condition. So final result will be the elements of itself, but we have some conditions. So this is going to print only the elements of the list. Okay, now we have the condition. So if element by 5 is to 0, okay, so we can close it inside. Okay, if it returns some true value, if it's true, then it will return as true and it will print the element. So we can print, and let's see. All right, so as you can see, it's giving us 15, 20, 145, 150. So I believe it's working perfectly fine.